They sang me happy birthday. Then spent the next 2 hours planning my sister's dream vacation, like I wasn't even sitting at the table. So I did the one thing no one expected. I paid the bill and walked out. Alone. My name is Violet, and I am done being the afterthought. It was my 27th birthday. I booked the restaurant myself, that cozy Italian place with the twinkle lights and the garlic bread everyone loves. I invited Mom, Dad, my little sister Chloe, and my aunt and uncle. I even dressed up. Red dress, new earrings, hair curled. Just right. I thought, maybe this year they'll make it about me. Just once, the cake came first. Chocolate with raspberry filling. My favorite. They sang, smiled, took pictures. Mom wiped a tear. Dad patted my shoulder. Chloe grinned and said, "Make a wish, Vi." I closed my eyes. Didn't wish for money or love or success. I wished for this. Just this. To feel like it was really about me. I blew out the candles. Everyone clapped. Then, silence. Then Chloe leaned forward. Okay, so, about my Bali trip. And just like that, my birthday vanished. Dad pulled out his laptop, right there on the tablecloth. Mom started scrolling through flight deals on her phone. Aunt Linda whipped out a notebook labeled Chloe's Adventure Itinerary. Uncle Rick Googled best snorkeling spots in Ubud. And Chloe, she sat there glowing, like a queen receiving gifts, while I sat across from her, forgotten. Again, I tried to smile. I really did. I asked about the dates, nodded at the hotel pics, laughed when Dad joked about Chloe needing 5 suitcases. But inside, I was crumbling. This wasn't just a dinner anymore. It was a meeting, a celebration for her. On my birthday, I sipped my wine, watched them plan, watched them dream, watched them light up. For her. Not once did anyone ask me how work was going. Not once did they mention my recent promotion. Not once did they say, "Violet, what do you want to do this year?" I might as well have been the table decoration. Halfway through dessert, tiramisu I didn't even get to pick, Mom looked up and said, "Oh, Violet, you'd love Bali too. Maybe you can go with Chloe." Chloe snorted. "No offense, Vi, but I kind of want this to be my solo trip. You know, find myself." Mom patted my hand. "Don't worry, sweetie. Maybe next year we'll plan something for you." Next year. Again, that's when I felt it. The shift. The quiet snap inside me, like a string breaking. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't make a scene. I just stood up. "I'll be right back," I said, voice calm. Too calm, I walked. To the front desk. Pulled out my card. Paid for the whole meal. $287.63. Left a 20% tip. Didn't flinch. When I walked back to the table, they were still deep in Bali talk. Chloe was showing Dad a photo of a cliffside villa. Mom was saying, "Ooh, that infinity pool." I picked up my purse, slid my chair in, looked at them, really looked, and said, "Thank you for dinner. I hope you all have a wonderful time planning Chloe's trip. I'm heading out." Silence. Like I dropped a bomb. Chloe blinked. "Wait, you're leaving? Now?" "Yep," I said. "It's been a long day, and honestly, I think you've got enough planners at the table." Mom stood up. "Violet, don't be dramatic. It's just a conversation." I smiled, small, sad. "No, Mom, it's not just a conversation. It's my birthday. And not one of you asked me what I wanted. Not one of you remembered I got promoted last week. Not one of you even noticed I wore my favorite dress. For you?" Dad frowned. "We're just excited for Chloe, Violet. You know how hard she's worked." I nodded. "I know, and I'm happy for her. Truly. But today was supposed to be for me. Just once." I turned to leave. Then Chloe said something that stopped me cold. "Oh, come on, Violet. It's not that big a deal. You're always like this. Acting like everything's about you." I froze, turned back slowly, looked her in the eye. "You're right, Chloe. It's not that big a deal, which is exactly why I'm walking out. Because if my birthday isn't a big enough deal to be about me, then I don't need to sit here pretending it is." I walked out, into the cool night air. No cake box, no leftovers, no hugs, just me. And the echo of my own voice finally saying enough. I didn't cry. I drove home, took off my red dress, put on sweatpants, ordered ice cream to my door, sat on my couch, alone. And you know what? It was the best birthday I've had in years because, for the first time, I chose myself. And that's where part one ends. With me on my couch, spoon in hand, phone off, world quiet. And a new rule written in my heart: if they won't celebrate me, I'll celebrate myself. Loudly, proudly. Alone if I have to. The next morning, my phone exploded. 6 missed calls from Mom, 3 voicemails, 7 texts from Chloe, 1 from Aunt Linda. That just said, "You really embarrassed us, Violet." I didn't answer, didn't read, didn't delete. I let them sit there, blinking, buzzing, demanding, while I made coffee, watered my plants, and scrolled through travel blogs. Not Bali, not for Chloe. For me, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. By noon, Mom showed up at my door. No knock, just walked in like she still lived here. Eyes red, voice shaky. "Violet, we need to talk." I handed her a mug, sat across from her. Didn't apologize. She sighed. "You hurt Chloe's feelings." I almost laughed. Chloe hurt mine, for years, and no one ever called that out. Mom looked down, stirred her coffee like it held the answers. "We didn't mean to. Ignore you, sweetheart. Chloe's trip is a big deal. She's never traveled alone. We got carried away." "Carried away?" I repeated. "On my birthday, while I sat right there? Mom, I paid for that dinner. I dressed up. I smiled through every Bali Villa photo. I didn't ask for a parade. I just wanted one night where I wasn't the backup singer in my sister's concert." She didn't argue, just sat there, quiet. For the first time in my life. She had no defense. Then she said something I never expected. "Your dad and we booked Chloe's flight yesterday. First class. Paid in full." I blinked. "You booked it? Already? The night of my birthday?" She nodded. "We were going to surprise her after dessert. That's why we were so focused. We didn't mean to make you feel small, but that's the thing. Intention doesn't erase impact. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just asked one question. Did you ever plan to do something like that for me?" She opened her mouth, closed it, looked at her hands. That silence, louder than any scream. I didn't kick her out. I didn't slam the door. I just hugged her, lightly, politely, and said, "I hope Chloe has the trip of her life." And I meant it, because I was already planning mine. 2 weeks passed. I didn't go to family dinners, didn't answer group texts, didn't ask about Chloe's packing list or her sunscreen SPF or her must-see temples. I blocked Aunt Linda's passive-aggressive Instagram stories. I muted Mom's "we miss you" voice notes. I lived my life, worked late, took yoga, bought a new suitcase, started saving. Then, 3 days before Chloe's flight, the bomb dropped. I got a call from Dad. Voice tight. "Violet, Bali's canceled." I sat up. "What? Why?" Volcano eruption near Ubud. Government issued travel warnings. Airlines grounded flights. Chloe's trip? Postponed indefinitely. I didn't cheer. I didn't gloat. But inside, a tiny part of me whispered, "Karma has good timing." Chloe was devastated. Cried for 2 days. Returned her luggage. Unfollowed every Bali influencer. Mom and Dad were scrambling. Refunds, rebooking, damage control. Then, Chloe called me. Not Mom, not Dad. Chloe. Her voice was small. "Vi, can we talk?" I said yes. She came over that night. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, eyes puffy. She sat on my couch, the same couch I'd eaten ice cream on after walking out, and said the words I'd waited 27 years to hear. "I'm sorry." Not, "I'm sorry you felt that way." Not, "I'm sorry if I hurt you." Just, "I'm sorry." She looked at her hands. "I didn't realize how much I took you for granted, how much I let them ignore you, how much I joined in. I thought you didn't care, that you were just easygoing Violet, the one who never complains." I stayed quiet. Let her talk. "I didn't know you got promoted." I didn't know you saved for months to book that restaurant. I didn't even notice your dress. She looked up, eyes wet. I'm a terrible sister. I handed her a tissue. You're not terrible. You're just used to being the sun, and I was okay being the moon. Quiet, in the background, but moons get tired too, Chloe. She nodded, sniffed, then said, So, what do you want? For your birthday? I'll plan it. Whatever you want. No Bali talk, no Chloe talk. Just you. I smiled. For real this time? I already planned it. She blinked. You did? I pulled out my laptop, opened a tab, showed her. Solo trip, Kyoto, Japan, 10 days, temples, tea ceremonies, cherry blossoms, flights booked, hotel confirmed. Her jaw dropped. You're going to Japan? Yep. Leaving next month. Alone? Yep. She stared at the screen, then at me. Can I come? I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I said, only if you promise one thing. What? You let me pick the restaurants. You let me choose the itinerary. You let me be the center of my trip. And if you even whisper the word Bali, I'm sending you home. She laughed. Actually laughed. Then hugged me. Tight. Real. No performance. I promise. 3 weeks later, we landed in Kyoto. Not as Chloe and Violet, not as the golden child and the quiet one, just as sisters. She carried my bag when I was tired, listened when I talked about my job, took 100 photos of me, not group shots, not selfies, just me in front of temples, under cherry blossoms, smiling with matcha in hand. On my actual birthday, April 18th, she woke me up at sunrise. Get dressed, she said. I'm taking you somewhere. I followed her to a tiny riverside cafe. No tourists, just locals, wooden tables, paper lanterns. She ordered for me my favorite, red bean mochi and jasmine tea. Then she pulled out a small wrapped box. Inside, a silver necklace, a tiny moon, pendant. For the girl who spent years being everyone's background, she said. You're the main character now, Vi, and I'm finally here to watch you shine, I cried. Right there, in front of strangers, in front of cherry blossoms, in front of my sister, who finally saw me. We spent the day wandering, talking, laughing, no plans, no pressure, just us. That night, as we sat on a wooden bridge watching lanterns float down the river, Chloe leaned her head on my shoulder. Thank you, she whispered, for walking out, for making us see you, for letting me come back. I kissed the top of her head. Thank you for finally looking. I came home different, not because of Japan, not because of temples or tea or cherry blossoms, but because for the first time in my life, I chose myself, and my family didn't leave. They followed. Mom calls me every Sunday just to hear about my week. Dad sends me articles about my industry, with notes like, thought you'd find this interesting. Chloe texts me memes. Random. Silly. Just because. And me? I still book my own dinners. I still wear my favorite dress, even if no one notices. I still say no when I need to. I still put myself first. Because I learned something in Kyoto. Under pink skies and paper lanterns, you don't have to burn yourself to keep others warm. Sometimes you just have to walk away from the table. So they finally see the empty chair and come find you.